Welcome to the Average Meat Channel. I'm Mark, and today finds us at Robert's Ranch. This is a Collier County museum, one of 5 museums, and it looks to be pretty interesting. The museum is dedicated to largely the early part of the 20th century when this area was a frontier. It was first being developed, but there are some things that go back as far as Ponce de Leon and the early Spanish explorers. It should be fun. Let's take a look. This is an early church, and it serves as the entrance to the museum. It was built around 1927 on this land purchased by Robert Roberts in 1916. When you think of the American frontier, you may think of the Wild West in the mid to late 1800s. But in Southwest Florida, the frontier remained wild until well into the 20th century. We'll take a walk around, and this is the ranch house and different parts of what was Robert's Ranch back in the early part of the century. This is a horse barn, and it was built in 1943 from lumber from a previous building. The horses they used were descendants from the 1500s, the horses that were brought here by the Spanish explorers. The saddles they used were McClellan saddles, and those were developed back in the 1850s, and they used them all the way into the time of World War II. And these freestanding horse stalls were built around the same time. I guess the 1940s don't seem all that old, but at that time, this really was the frontier here in Southwest Florida. There's Robert and Sarah Roberts. And here is their pole barn, where they stored a lot of their machinery. And this is a sugarcane boiler. It was built in 1921 and strengthened with an old buggy spring. It has a chimney, a firebox, and a cast iron vat or kettle. I wonder if that is R.A.R. Robert A. Roberts. And this is Florida sugarcane growing here. And that big bowl was used to boil the sugarcane syrup. It's all wet now, but there's one of those bowls right inside, covered up. Well, what is this? This is a water well. This well is 16 feet deep, and it's lined with terracotta piping. You can see that's all terracotta. This is a sugarcane mill, and a large pole is attached to this, and it would run out, and then they'd get a mule or something to push that around and round in circles, and that's how they would grind all of this sugar cane. Well, probably not this sugar cane, but they would grind sugar cane so it would be in a more usable form. And there you can see that long pole. These are the remains of a cabin that stood here. It was built in 1871, and you can see how this log is notched out. And it looks like this is all that's left. And this little area is chained off. But there used to be a cabin here. This is the kitchen. And they used to build the kitchen separately down here when this was a frontier because of the heat. Obviously, it's really hot down here in Southwest Florida. Also, they didn't want to risk fire. If there was a fire, they didn't want it to spread to the rest of the house. The Roberts family had 11 family members, And this is where and how they used to prepare their meals. You can see there's a stove back there. I don't know if that's the original stove or if it's just a stove that would match that time period. Yeah, you can see an old table and chair. That almost looks like an ice cream maker there, but I'm not sure what that bucket is on top of that. There's a cabinet on the wall. And this is really it. That's what they use. It looks like some ice tongs over there on the wall. This building is the hide house, and it was used for stacking and storing the hides of cattle. This is the bunkhouse, and this is where the hired hands would live. They would hire up to 15 people on this particular ranch. And if this looks kind of new, it's because it is. It burned in 1999, and they rebuilt a new one based on the footprint and the plans of the original. So, take a look what's in there. I'm looking through a glass window, so they have some of this partitioned off. They say it's closed for restoration. And they would never eat or cook in here for the reasons that we gave earlier. Look at that, there's a cowbell on the floor over there. Ooh, it's hot in there. No wonder they said that the cowhands would eat under the shade of a tree. I think it's kind of interesting what they use for landscape stone. It's all different kinds of shells. All of this throughout the whole facility. It looks like it might be gravel, but it's all shells. And this is a cattle ramp used to load the horses onto trucks. I hope you enjoyed this visit to Robert's Ranch in Immokalee, Florida. It's kind of like going back into the Old West, although it was only the 20th century, and for the most part mid-20th century at that. I sure enjoyed visiting. I hope that you did too. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner. And don't forget to ring that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks again. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Meat Channel.